Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for March 8th, 2016. I am Frank Ochoa with your analysis for the current session. Taking a look here at the ES in a daily time frame. One thing we talked about was how value continues to mark higher here. You have higher value relationships with the pivot range week over week. Every pullback to the pivot range, even if it has been a little bit sloppy, has been a buying opportunity for a round of strength to new highs. And right now what you're seeing is price pushing into the pivot range to begin the week right now, testing the 1981 half CLVN, which continues to fill in just a hair. And that could provide another boost for another round of strength ahead. Beyond the 2007 previous week's high here opens the door to a continuation into the primary bull target for the week, which is now shifted to 2044 after seeing the current new low for the day and for the week. So right now, the idea is bulls are trying to defend the CLVN 1981s. And in general, I mentioned that any pullback, even as deep as the previous month's high and the bottom end of this pivot range, could be a buying opportunity still for a continuation into that primary bull target for the week. So right now, kind of in a holding pattern. We knew this could happen after last week's range. We knew that we could see kind of a wider range set out here this week, but overall, it appears that all pullbacks are still being defended short term until that pattern proves otherwise. If we look at the intraday time frame, you can see the 1981 half key level right here coming into play. And overnight trading, that's the CLVN, price drops into that zone, immediately sees a rejection back toward 1994. So that was a solid rally back up. Right now, what you see also is overnight VPOC 1986 is here, went bid here off of a shift down. I would say any retest of that zone offers a buying opportunity for a shot at retesting the previous session's close at 1991. Any failure to hold above 1981 here opens up a likely continuation at least into the 1978 level with a shot at rotating all the way back toward 1968s. All right, taking a look here at crude oil. Here's a look. This has been a phenomenal squeeze that we've seen here lately. Obviously, when we had this day down here, when we had this session form, we knew that this was likely a major rejection of those lows, and we would be looking for a swift move back to 34.63 with the potential to see a continuation across the range into 40 half. However, the way that this thing has squeezed over the last 2 days has taken a lot of market participants by surprise, and really and truly beyond that 35.25 offered no real signs of upside targets here until you get really into the 39.17s. So there still could be much more strength ahead into 39.17 to 39.35. 39.35 is the primary bull target for the week. So if the current low for the week is in, then you would likely see a continuation into that 39.35, right? So right here you can see previously we had this price distribution that played out that gave us an HVN to play to here at 39.17. And taking this value bid at 33.44, the expectation is for a continuation to the next area above, which saw at least brief acceptance. So that could be there could be much more strength ahead. Here's 37s. That was the middle of the LVN we were watching the previous day. Price blew through that area, so pullbacks to it should be defended for a continuation higher. And right now we could see a holding pattern after the two-day strength that we've seen. Overall, I believe that continued strength will likely be seen into 39.17 to 39.35 by the end of the week, with a shot to retest the top of the key range at 40 half within also by the end of the week or early next week. This is the 100% target. So on an average week over the last 10 weeks, given the current low, we could see a push right into that level. So continued strength could be seen ahead, especially if bulls can continue to hold above 37s. Looking at the intraday time frame, what you see here is how price pulled back into the pivot point for the day, 37.37, and bounced. VPOC went bid, and then a retest also went bid with a new high here past the previous high. So right now you can see that a very nice clear range has developed here, basically from 37.30 up to about 38.10. Look for further development of this range, and basically holding above 37s again implies a continuation higher again into that 39.17. Any push beyond 38.10 opens the door to a primary upside target on the day at 38.73. All right, taking a look at gold here. Here's gold. We talked about how price has continued to trend higher. Pullback should be defended. The 1263.90 level was very, very important. That's the top of the key range. Price is attempting to hold above that zone. And I mentioned any hold above that area implies a continuation into the next upside targets, which we have at 1300.1, and obviously the two weekly bull targets, 1294.20 and 1306. So overall, prices are attempting to hold above this 1263.90. Any failure to do so opens up a return back toward 1233.30, which is composite VPOC. All right, taking a look at the NQ now. Here's the NQ. This one's been a little more sloppy than we had expected. Basically, we formed a very narrow 3.5 day range. Price poked below that area and got into the bottom of the previous week's, or the current pivot range, which is the midpoint of the previous week's range, and then saw some buying into the close. And I mentioned to watch out for any rejection of price levels below here because that could slingshot you into the next HV and above. And that's still the case right now. As a matter of fact, we could drop as far as 42.26 and still be deemed bullish for a shot at seeing that HV and above, with the primary bull target at 44.22. The inside key level here, actually this is the 25% expansion level at 44.21, and obviously the HVN at about 44.11. So we have a nice confluence of targets up here to play to should bulls be able to defend the current pullback and get price back above this previous week's high. That's going to be the important level, the previous month's high rather. 43.09 is very important, as it is the top of the key range. It's the top of the previous month's range. All those things are very important. The fact that price was not able to hold above that zone short term and then pulled back implies the market is having to auction lower in order to entice buyers to enter the market. Should buyers be able to defend this pullback, the expectation would be for a squeeze higher, even as low as those 42.26s. But if price gets to 42.26 and fails to hold above that zone, we could be looking at an auction all the way back toward 40.85. Right now, given the current uptrending pace of the market, the expectation would be for pullbacks to be defended for a shot at that next HV and above. Looking at the intraday time frame, which you'll notice here, this is the bottom of the monthly, or rather the bottom of the weekly pivot range. Price came into it, made it the low the previous session and bounced. In overnight trading, price attempted to hold below that range and was rejected back to the weekly pivot point. So any pullback, I would say, into 42.65 offers an opportunity for bulls to defend and trap and then squeeze into 5-day VPOC at 43.22. Failure to hold above 42.60 opens up a continuation into the primary bear target at 42.43 with a likely shot testing at 42.26. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this thing plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck and trade well.